Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today's song is going to be so satisfying to analyze because I've read the lyrics already and it's essentially anti-trolls. Did I mention I hate trolls? Real trolls. You can kill those with acid or fire, or you can throw a magic acorn at them and they turn to stone. But internet trolls, you can block them, but it's essentially like whack-a-mole. They just keep popping up. So Maynard is going to teach us the remedy. Let's get to it.
Trolls receive 86 cents.
Few things right away that are awesome about this song. One of them is the subdivision that's happening in the time signature. You're going to go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. That can take the form of a couple of different time signatures, but the subdivision, the way it's switching between 3s and 2s, is one of the things that I really like to listen to and feel that groove of. It's not normal, like it's not just your standard 4/4 with always having a 2 subdivision. It's got something very interesting to it. And then the other thing I'm really liking is the vocals of Maynard combined with Karina. So Karina Round is the other lead vocalist on this. I've heard Maynard before in lots of different things by Tool. He's also the lead singer of A Perfect Circle. But this is, Puscifer is essentially his project. It's his creative outlet. And so I was looking forward to hearing more of Maynard and what he wants to do with his voice and his creativity. And I didn't expect to immediately have this beautiful combination of vocals with Karina. I think that Karina's voice just complements his perfectly. They have a similar tone quality. They have similar enunciation as well. I'm very curious how those voices will continue to weave together. But let's go back to the beginning for now. I'll count out that subdivision where it's super awesome. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2. Man, I like the style of this like pinstripe pants and the shoes underneath, and it was making me think at the same time this slow, quick, slow, quick feeling with that subdivision I was talking about. It also feels a little dancey in a lot of ways. It feels almost tongue-in-cheek when I put it together with some of the lyrics, and I know a little bit about what the song's about. Okay, one more time, back at the beginning. Trolls receive 86 cents. Stick around if your house broken. Can't hold your shit or your tongue, you gotta go. This vocal line, pitch-wise, is very simple at this point. It's not covering a huge range. And that's one of the things that I actually have come to extremely appreciate about Maynard. He does things that are, quote, simple, extremely, extremely well. And it's all about right now how he's delivering the text, how he's singing through certain consonants, how he's choosing to accent a particular vowel within a diphthong. And then the way that Karina is also going with him in this, I'm guessing these might have been choices that they made together. And at times, Karina's voice or Maynard's voice will deliberately hold on to something while the other voice drops away or does a different line. So even though they've got great coordination within their choices in pronunciation, they also have individuality. It's a very, very nice weaving of these voices. I'm going to go back a little bit and talk about some of those really deliberate, subtle choices that he's making. That's a great example on receive. Karina deliberately is holding that much longer. She lingers.
Stitches, receive stitches. Trolls receive 86 cents. Stick around if your house broken.
They're actually using like almost a rhyme scheme with the diphthong in these two words, around and house. So instead of within a diphthong, a diphthong is essentially two vowels that are pushed into one sound. And you've heard me talk about them a lot if you've seen a lot of videos on this channel. So diphthong, one sound that actually contains two vowels. Ow is a diphthong, has an ow, right? There's essentially an ah and an oo vowel that are put together in this. So they're going to the oo part of it very quickly. Most classical singing will tell you to linger on the first vowel, and that is it's considered the good standard. But if you want to go really twangy, or you want to have a deliberation in your pronunciation in a different way that really stands out, you can go to the second one. So here we have stick around if your house is broken. That's not how we speak, right? But they're drawing attention to it by elongating that vowel, second vowel sound while singing. Let's go back. There are so many different layers in the background of that. I counted at least 5 different layers that were happening in there, but there are quite a few. I appreciate the production that went into that, and again, subtle goodness. Let's keep going.
Yes, we're being condescending. Yes, that means we're talking down to you. With all that racket from your lips are flapping, we assumed you didn't notice.
Ha! So most of that was done in parallel octaves. I have to say, I'm again the combination of Karina with Maynard. Karina's voice has an airiness that's present, but also very good specificity, and the pitch. Definitely, when she shifts between different enunciations of words, that's not affecting her pitch, and she's really got a lot of little tiny details that are crossed off, and it's very, very nice. I think it goes so well with Maynard's voice, and the underplay here of the text is also super fascinating. I'm going to go back one more time. We'll talk about the parallel octaves. By the way, parallel octaves are essentially when it's the same note name. So maybe a person is singing A, and down an octave there's a double. So it sounds very consonant to our ears, meaning that it sounds good because it's the same letter name, and ultimately the overtones of those two letter names being the same makes them sound really lovely together. Go back over here. This is all parallel octaves here. You can hear a top one and a bottom one.
With all that racket from your lips are flapping, we assumed you did.
And right there we got a different harmony that wasn't the octave anymore. That is such a cool synth sound. This like bell-like sound. Almost, maybe it has like a marimba thing going on in there. It's really cool. Again, really subtle. This is so played down, unaggressive, really, for what I would have expected reading the lyrics and knowing a little bit about Tool. This feels a lot more laid back. Just interesting. Right, it's got a really chill vibe right here. Huh.
Haters, isolators, no one misses these bitches. Stitches, trolls receive 86s.
I'm just catching a little bit in this music video. It's so curious to me.
Trolls receive.
A lot of times we've been given this view of this. It's like a rope or maybe a part of the ring that they're singing in. It looks almost like they're singing on a boxing ring or stage that has some sort of fence that's set up essentially. And I want to remark on one of the things that I also find extremely fascinating about Maynard, and that is that he's not usually in performances up in front and stage where most singers do take front stage. He often will be in the background really trying to draw a lot more attention to other members of the band. And even in this video, we're not really getting a lot of close-ups of his face. When we have a scene with his face in it, there's often something that's obscuring it. We're getting awesome views of his pinstripe suit. Also, he has really cool hairstyle, and Karina does too. And with both of them, though, we're not really getting a lot of close-ups on them. Instead, we're getting this man that I've not figured out yet. Seems to be associated with comics. I almost looked like Deadpool at one point.
Bitches,
I'm not sure.
trolls receive 86s. Yes, we're being condescending. Yes, that means we're talking down to you.
Oh, I think this is it's a wrestling reference of some sort. I don't really follow the wrestling world as much, but it looks like it. I think they're referring to wrestling. Anyhow, I want to talk about the subtlety of Karina's backings in there. She's got these little tiny sighs, which are just so effective. It's such a good combination. Back one more time. Right there. It's pretty.
Yes, that means we're talking down to you.
And there's a little more production on the vocals here. They have like just a slight electronic feel to them. And that might be the way they've been produced and set in the background as well.
Yes, that means we're
Nice harmony on that one.
down to you.
I like it.
With all that racket your lips are flapping.
Man, the way he's creating this extremely subtle but deliberate rhythm, racket from your lips flapping, he's using the enunciation so extremely well. A lot of times singers think that like the band is going to keep time for them and it's their job to have a beautiful line. And that can be true in some ways, but a lot of times that means that singers get lazy and they don't keep that rhythm going inside. They don't make it a part of their own responsibility to give that rhythmic impulse to the audience. For singers, your rhythmic impulse is 99% of the time is going to be in your consonants. And Maynard knows this extremely well. I would assume that working with somebody like Danny Carey a lot, that he would know this extremely well and have to keep that rhythm inside. This is just beautiful, beautiful enunciation to highlight the rhythm.
Talking down to you with all that racket from your lips are flapping.
There are times when he slows down on those consonants. There's times when he goes to a consonant very quickly. It's just so subtly exact.
All that racket from your lips are flapping. We assumed you didn't notice.
By the way, this time signature, I'm guessing they've written it in 5/8 at this point. You've got, again, a combination of 3 and 2 subdivisions. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, which likely is combined to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it's so smooth. Most of the time, a 5/8 time signature is going to feel a little bit jarring. But the way that this is so smooth, I would almost say that it's like the person is completely unbothered by the internet trolls, right? They might be jarring at some point, but there's a way to just get rid of them, just 86 them, which means that they're essentially crossed out, canceled out. There's no more internet trolls left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Isolators, no one listens, please. Bitches, receives stitches. Trolls receive 86 cents.
So you heard me earlier talk about parallel octaves. That's where the notes are often split apart by 1 octave, same note name. A lot of this was in unison now. There's a very, very, very light parallel octave in the background, but the stuff that's in front is unison, meaning they're singing the same letter name right there beside each other. There's not one that's an octave lower. Just so you have an idea with keyboard, if you have, I think they're singing on F sharps a bunch. So this is an F sharp. That's an F sharp 1 octave below. You can hear how those 2 octaves then are moving beside each other and they have a lot of consonants. That would be singing in unison if 2 voices were just singing this same note, which is what they're doing in this last part. And you can hear it very, very subtly in the background. There is a parallel octave.
Trolls receive 86 cents. You speak like someone who has never been smacked in the fucking mouth. That's okay, we have the remedy. You speak like someone
I'm totally rooting for this guy who's got his costume. I think this is fantasy wrestling worldwide. There's a wrestling league I know that's like a fantasy wrestling thing essentially, that people are really, really into and have costumes, and there's even TV series about it. And I just have never watched this before, but I've heard that it's amazing and really exciting. So I think that he's involved in that. I'm totally rooting for him. I know at one point there was like some stomach patting and sucking in and letting out. And I'm just like, man, yeah, go get it. Get it back, man. Makes me happy to see him grabbing his costume and walking down this hall. Yeah. So fascinating how they're going back and forth between those images of him in the costume and looks like more fit at one point and then him now. Right. There's something that it feels very human and touching about those visuals and the splits back and forth. I should mention also Puscifer is essentially, I mentioned earlier, it's Maynard's creative outlet. And I think it was begun with just Maynard being the main person. And they've released 4 albums now. At some point, Karina joined as a full-time vocalist as well. And then I believe Matt Mitchell is the other person that's full-time. And he does guitars, keyboards, mandolin, like some other backing instruments in this track. And then I believe that Jeff Friedel, I think is how you say his last name. He's the one that's on the drums right now. I don't think he's a full-time member. Originally, it was just Maynard plus a bunch of guests, and then slowly it's evolved to be 3 consistent members. And I'm guessing it's probably still evolving, though I don't know. That's nice. Sounds like a bit like the vocals from Imogen Heap or Frou Frou. Interesting. Let's see if I can pause it once more here. There's something very vintagey. I shouldn't say something. There's a lot of things very vintagey in this picture, right? From the mics, they've got essentially a what's the name? A shock mount that's going all the way around. A shock mount is something that a microphone goes in. It usually has various kinds of bands, like rubber bands, that the microphone is attached to. And so if there's a big bang on the floor, or if the microphone stand is nudged a little bit, it won't pick up as much of a boom in the mic because of those rubber bands will sort of absorb that shock. So around the outside of this, it looks like there's a shock mount. But also, it looks a little strange to me. It looks very vintagey in the presentation of it. I'm kind of curious what that exact gear is. Maybe Tank the Tech would know what that exact gear is. He has an awesome channel, by the way. If you don't know about his channel, you should definitely check it out. But also, I mean, it's in the style of both of them. We've definitely got vintage going. We definitely have it in the sunglass style as well. The hair, everything about it.
Like someone who has never been smacked in the fucking mouth. That's okay, we have the remedy.
Ooh, is that how it ends? I went into this really wanting to understand what Maynard's creative outlet sounds like. And I wonder if this is actually a great example of his entire work in Puscifer. I expected it to be so much more aggressive, and instead it's super chill. It is a beautiful combination to hear Karina and Maynard together with that specificity. I've always thought that Maynard's a bit underappreciated as a vocalist because he doesn't show off extreme ranges. Instead, he shows off tiny details that are so dang precise. So it's beautiful to hear a different direction in addition to all of the other things he's done. I'm very, very curious where else Puscifer has gone. If you'd like to see some other analysis videos that contain Maynard in them, you can check out this playlist over here, and I hope to see you somewhere soon.